afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eastern New Mexico University Greyhound Football Signing Day 2019. I'm Doc Elder. It's my privilege to be the voice of Eastern New Mexico University Greyhound Football, and I get to host this Signing Day special. I'm joined by Kelley Lee, the head coach of Greyhound Football. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on getting a second straight winning season last fall.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Doc. We're excited about this class and getting started on next year.
Well, that's part of the problem, is that a big reason why you did have the winning season was because you had some key seniors that graduated, and tough to replace some guys that helped you get you all those victories during their careers.
Yeah, a lot of guys that played a lot of football for us. A couple four-year starters like Tayshawn Gary, Mr. Berto had played a ton of football, and Hayden Hill played a lot of football for us, and others, you know, but always a little bittersweet, you know what I mean? You're excited for those guys to move on, get started with their life, and put their degree to work, but sometimes you're sad to see them leave the football program.
Of course, there were many highlights during the season. You played in 2 trophy games, and you won yourself 2 trophies.
Yeah, I think in college athletics, that's one of the big deals. You know, you want to have rivalry games, and you want to win your rivalry games. And obviously, we won the Chili Bowl, a pretty decisive game over Western New Mexico, and then we're able to get the shutout in the wagon wheel game, 28-0 victory. So that goes a long ways, and that helps recruiting, and it helps your feeling about your season in the off season, and that's things that we want to continue to play well in those games.
And Coach, I don't know if you realize it or not, kind of a statistical anomaly, but every team you played that had West in their name, you beat them.
That's true. That's
Western
true.
New
West
Mexico.
Oregon, Western New Mexico. Let's keep that going. That's
Exactly.
fun. Since we got 3 of them on our schedule again next year, let's keep that going.
Coach, if you had to summarize the needs that you faced going into this recruiting season, was it pretty much across the board, or was there one part of the game that you really needed to recruit?
Well, Division II football is really a numbers game, and so you're looking at signing pretty much someone at every position, you know, offense and defense. But we needed to address our receiving core. Was a little thin last year, and we graduated some guys. And you know, Wyatt Strand, being a 4-year starter, probably had his most success throwing the ball as a freshman when he had some really talented guys, and Aaron Johnson and Larry Baker Bruce to throw to. And I think we adjust that with some transfers and some young guys that can really be weapons in that area. And we wanted to get some young D linemen. Last year we didn't sign too many young D linemen. We signed some transfers, but we wanted some young high school guys, and we got some good ones there too, and getting faster in the secondary. And I feel good. I feel like we got that done.
Well, Coach, I think we've set the stage nicely, so why don't we start out on the offensive side of the ball, and why don't you talk about the recruits that you got for the 2019 campaign?
Sounds great. Sounds great. Right there, Alex Aguilar out of Belen, New Mexico, 6'4", 245-pound tight end. Played wide receiver a lot in their offense, basketball player, big guy that's really skilled. We think he can be not only a big blocker, but a passing receiving threat in our offense.
Yeah, I saw him play in the state championship in basketball. I know that kid's pretty athletic.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of upside still. He hasn't played a ton of football. We really think he can really excel. James Owls, transfer from Santa Monica Junior College. We got him in at the break. We're signing about 48, 49 today, and we signed 10 at mid-year. So guy that's already on campus, 6'2", 280-pound offensive lineman, originally from New York. The funny thing about James is he didn't play high school football.
I saw that on the graphic.
He's an older guy, weight room guy, strong guy, decided to give it a shot in junior college, and played well, and we signed him. And the last guy in the league I remember with that story was Luis Perez, and ended up winning the Harlan Hill. So maybe we can catch a little of that same magic with James. But he's already on campus and working hard, so we're excited about James. Alan Awana comes to us out of Hawaii. Coach McCraw, our own line coach, actually got to work at camp where he had Alan's, been in touch with him since then. I think he fits our scheme. Low center gravity guy that can really get off the ball and run, block, and physical, strong kid. So we're excited about getting Alan to Portales.
We'll say aloha to him.
Absolutely. Keyshawn Berry, another kid, junior college kid. That he's listed as wide receiver. He'll probably play slot for us. Played wide receiver at El Camino. Caught over 50 balls for him there. Was voted their offensive MVP, but played running back in high school in a similar offense to ours. So we think he'll transition as one of those slot running backs. And he's got great speed, but he's extremely quick. really quick. And Coach Langford got to see him play in a bowl game out there when he was recruiting, and really impressed with him. So we're excited about Keyshawn and what he can bring to our offense. Miles Bravo out of Lubbock Cooper. Miles actually a guy that transferred to Lubbock out of in Albuquerque at, I want to say he was at El Dorado High School. So we got to visit with him there and had seen him, and he transferred and really became a great player over in Lubbock, played for Lee Hayes, the offensive line coach there, used to be the offensive line coach at Texas Tech.
Yes.
So he's been coached well and really a physical guy, and we just think he's going to fit great in our offense. And really excited about getting Miles and plugged into our program. I can't say enough good things about him and his upside. Jackson Brill out of Colorado, Palmer High School, option quarterback. Played in the triple option, so he knows our scheme. He's done the things we want to do. Great leader, great kid. His learning curve will be a lot smaller because he played in our offense, and feel real fortunate to be able to get Jackson on board with us.
Yep, because before very long, Wyatt Strand's going to run out of eligibility.
Yeah, and that was a big issue. We will see. We signed 3 quarterbacks in this class, and here's another one, Rashad Carter. Rashad, 6'2", 185, 190 pounder out of Leander High School in Austin. Again, another triple option quarterback. Man, he's explosive, big, strong kid. Really runs the option well, reads it well, and he throws a nice ball too. And a great young man, and probably one of the more ready to play quarterbacks we've signed because he's been in that system so much. So we look for him to come in and compete on that depth chart right away.
Yeah, he looked like, just on the graphic that we showed, it looks like he has almost the same physical size that Michael Benton did back in the day.
You know, I was talking to Coach Walton, and we said he reminded us a lot of when we recruited Michael Benton. A very similar style player. I think Rashad probably throws the ball a little better than Mike, but we hope that he can be that kind of player because Michael Benton was a heck of a player for this program. Absolutely. Diego Casillas, another Belen High School guy, had a great career at Belen. I don't know how many yards he's rushed for, but I know he's well over 2,000 as a junior, had another big year. We've been watching him for several years now, had him in camp, and he can play slot or fullback. Just a great guy with the ball, runs hard, big, strong runner, but has the ability to make people miss as well. Did a great job for Coach Hennington at Belen High School. Justin Clatterback comes to us out of Arizona, good program, Perry High School. Really thought he was a great run blocker, you know, and he's a smart kid, good test scores, good grades, and his coaches talk about his football IQ and how he made all the line calls for him, and you sit down and talk to him, you see that, you know, he knows the game, and that usually bodes well in our offense. So we think he can fit in, and as smart as he is, and he might challenge for some playing time early because he's a physical guy and has played at a high level in high school. And
he grew up in a community where there's a pro football stadium.
That's right. That's right. He's been around it. That's for sure. Next up, I think was Darryl Cloy, maybe. Yeah, tight end out of Cerritos Junior College. Originally signed out of high school at University of Arizona. Played tight end there. I think he ended up playing D-line for a little bit there. Made his way out to Cerritos. Helped him have a great season. Great blocker, but for a big guy, has tremendous hands. And you really saw him when you watch his high school highlights. He was a true pass receiving threat, even played out as a wide receiver in the slot a lot. So obviously Division I caliber athlete, but we think he is a great kid who's going to add a lot to our offense as a blocker and as a pass receiver. Jake Deathridge, the third quarterback in this class out of Volcano Vista. Jake's a little bit of a late bloomer, kind of took the reins there at Volcano Vista this year. And I mean, he was the player of the week every week for his team, several times for Albuquerque metro area. Got his team into the semifinals. It reminds me a little bit of Heath Ridenhour. Heath actually is one of the guys that said, we need to recruit this guy. I think they played him for district championship, maybe in the semis. And that's kind of what he reminds me of. You know, a tall, lanky guy with good speed, but a really good arm. And a guy that we think has a lot of upside, and really excited about getting Jake plugged into our program.
Well, if he says yes, I say yes as well.
Yeah, that's took his advice on that one, that's for sure. Isaiah Farmer comes to us from, Artesia High School, traditional powerhouse, probably the best offensive lineman they've had in the last few years. We've been around Isaiah for several years, camps and coming to games. And I think we knew he was going to be a Greyhound. He knew he was going to be a Greyhound, and he's already bought in, and we expect big things out of him. Zach Fields, junior college wide receiver, was signed at mid-year. He's already on campus, working hard. Tall guy, go up and get it. Got good speed too, and great hands. He's not just one of those tall, deep ball receivers. He could be a possession guy. Got great soft hands. Really impressed with the way he's working. He's picking up our offense, and I think Zach's going to make some big plays for us.
And like you said, a couple of years ago, Aaron Johnson, he could win jump balls, and that's something that looks like that guy with his size will be able to do.
Yeah, and you know, Wyatt's really good at throwing those back shoulder fades, and Wyatt's got a great arm, and when he feels comfortable, he's got a guy he can really drill it in there too. I've seen him make some really fantastic throws. So we want to surround him with some of those guys in his senior year and let him, you know, be that point guard distributor, and we think Zach's going to be one of those weapons for us. Billy Fisi Ahi comes to us from Hawaii, out of Fresno City College, played center for them. Obviously, he could play that for us, could play guard. Physical kid, strong kid, great run blocker, but his head coach there at Fresno City could not say enough good things about him. I mean, he grilled me about him, and I said, Coach, do you do this for every kid? And he said, no, he's like one of my sons, you know. So he said he's one of those kids that'll leave a mark on our offensive line, our whole team, great character kid. And when after talking to the coach, we really were really sold on him because we already knew he was a great player. But, you know, to get a leader like that can only help improve our locker room and our team.
Absolutely.
Javon Fountain out of Duncanville, great program, played in the state championship this year, played for Eric Mims, who's the offensive coordinator.
Wow.
Remember Eric?
Oh, yeah.
And Javon is actually the backup running back at Duncanville, but the number one guy is going to, I believe, LSU. So he's
No
a guy,
disgrace being a backup.
yeah, he's a guy that maybe was a little under the radar because when he got to play and he got carries, he's explosive. I think he's like a 10-8, 100-meter guy. Great in the open field. I think he'll be a great fit for our offense. Coach Mims couldn't say enough good things about him. I think we might have really got a steal there because, you know, he wasn't their feature guy, but he was a pivotal player in their run to state championship game in Texas.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Luke Walton, or Bill Walton was asked who the best player he played against. He said Swen Nader, and that was the backup center at
every day in
UCLA.
practice, yeah. Chris Gonzalez, offensive lineman, comes to us Volcano Vista. Again, they had a great year, made the semifinals. Chris, great work ethic, had a lot of choices, took a lot of visits, highly recruited kid, but felt at home here, and we're glad we got him. And I think his best football is ahead of him. Coach Wallens really thinks he's kind of a late bloomer, really thinks we're getting a steal with him, and we're excited to get Chris. Damari Haynes, another big receiver, comes from a triple option offense at Creekview High School, so we got to see him do a lot of the things that we're going to ask him to do, not only obviously blocking in our run game, big physical guy, but running the same similar route trees. And I think he understands that in our offense he's going to get opportunities to make plays down the field, and that's really his forte, you know, a big tall guy who can run. So we think he'll have a smooth transition into our offense, and we're excited about Damari and what he brings to the table.
Absolutely.
Xavier Ivy-Sod, you know, running back out of Manzano High School, really a catalyst behind their state championship run as a junior, was really their workhorse. Of course, they had Jordan Bird, who made a lot of plays and went to San Diego State, but Ivy-Sod was the guy that was pounded in there 25, 30 times a game and did it again this year. And I think, you know, he's a guy that you know can carry the load. You know, reminds me a little bit of Kamal, not from a speed-wise, but it's a guy who you saw in high school consistently carry the ball and carry his team and take the pounding and move the pile, and just a great kid, and I think he's going to be a great fit in our offense, and a guy that I think could be a really good player.
And it was interesting, the graphic for him, it didn't describe a position, it just said ATH, which I assume means he's pretty athletic.
Yeah, he can do a lot of things. He can do a lot of things, and he'll fit as a running back in our scheme, whether it's as a slot or in that fullback position. DeJuan Johnson out of Chabot College, slot, receiver, running back, electric kid, a lot of speed, a lot of shiftiness. We think he can do a lot of things, and he's really good with the ball in his hands. Dadrian Madrid, big-time sign out of storied program, Midland Lee, played defensive end, all-district player in a tough league, great player. We think he has the size eventually to move inside and develop into a great D tackle, but really, really big sign for us, and we're really thrilled to have him. He's listed an athlete, but he'll probably end up on the defensive side of the ball, I think, but you know, he can do a lot of things. Justin Manyweather, one of the mid-year guys we have, could be a wide receiver, could be a slot. Great player for Fullerton Junior College. They won back-to-back national championships. Excellent return man. I think he returned 5 or 6 punts, kickoffs in his time there. Explosive with the ball in his hands. So we got to figure out how we're going to use him, probably in a lot of ways. Probably pitch him the ball, hand him the ball, throw him the ball, put him outside, put him in the slot, let him be a slot running back. He's a versatile guy with a ton of upside. And one of the good things is one of our graduate assistants, Max Silver, he coached at Fullerton. So we had a relationship with him and did a great job recruiting him, and we're fortunate enough to get him, and he's going to be a big impact player for us.
And of course, it occurs to me that your return man, especially on punts, Russell Montoya graduated,
Right.
So you're going to need somebody.
Definitely
to step
need spot, and he's a proven guy at that spot. In fact, I think he's a first-team All-American return specialist.
Wow.
So, anytime you get a first-team All-American junior college player, that's they've played against pretty good competition. That says a lot. We think he can do some special things with the ball in his hands. Daniel Pomali comes to us out of El Camino College. He's the brother of Denver Pomali, who's on our team. So he's the younger brother. He was a qualifier out of high school, so he actually still has 3 years. So he didn't have to stay. So he's a 1-semester junior college guy. We got him in at the break. He's here working now, plays the same position as his brother. So, might be some battles in there. Denver was our starting center last year, but maybe one of them moves to guard. I don't know. But it'll be exciting to see. Daniel's a great kid, comes from a great family.
Nothing wrong with a little rivalry.
No. Seth Porter, running back out of Estacada High School. Talented running back. Bounced back his senior year coming off of an injury. Still limped a little bit, and you could still tell he wasn't 100%. But like I told the other coaches, he limped faster than everyone else ran because he still was breaking off 85-yard touchdown runs and rushed for over 1,500 yards. And a great player, and I think, he gets 100% healthy. He could really be a force. Caleb Reynolds, corner out of Tascosa High School, very instrumental in their playoff run. He played a little offense, but we're probably going to play him on the defensive side of the ball as a corner because we've seen him go against some of the best in Texas. Multiple Division I receivers in their deep playoff run. Caleb's the guy who drew him, locked down coverage on him, so we've seen him against the best. And Tascosa's a great program. We've got several kids from there. I think Caleb's going to be our next really solid rebel that can help the Greyhounds win.
And of course, he's 6'1", which is going to allow him to cover some of the taller wide receivers that we're going to face in the Lone Star
Yeah, he's
Conference.
tall, he can jump, he's got long arms, he runs well, he's physical. He's played man coverage, he's played zone coverage, so we think we got a steal with Caleb. Dalvin Rhodes, probably another guy that we're going to play on the defensive side of the ball, defensive tackle. Probably could be an end, he'll move inside. Tough-nosed kid. Had him in camp this summer, offered him there, been following with him, and he's got a great motor and plays hard. And he knew he wanted to be a Greyhound, committed to us early in the process. And so the more we've been around him, the more we've learned to love him. And I really think he'll be a good player for us.
And Estacado has been a really good breeding ground of players for Eastern New Mexico University
Yeah, through
football.
the years
Yep.
and even more recently. And their coaches do a good job getting them exposure, so they're always well recruited. You're battling a lot of other schools. So, when you get a guy out of there, they're guys that are choosing you over West Texas, Angelo, UTBB. So when we got those guys, we knew we won some recruiting battles, and that always makes you feel good. Carry-on Ringo, junior college wide receiver, phenomenal wide receiver, 1,000-yard receiver at College of the Desert, all-conference guy. He's got good size, he's got speed, physical, goes up and gets the ball, runs well with the ball after catch. I think could be really a special player. And like I said, we're definitely going to have some weapons, and not any short in stature either. So if I'm Wyatt Strand right now, I'm probably licking my lips, getting excited about spring ball and fall camp.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna be pretty explosive. Tyler Stevegraves, mid-year guy. He can play center, can play guard out of Highland Community College, Georgia kid originally. Kid that's here, already working, already plugged in. Looks like he's going to battle for playing time, maybe a starting position. So, we'll see how spring ball works out. But we're really glad to have Tyler, and he's looks like he is everything we hoped he was. Dalton Shields, a guy that played both sides of the ball, played O-line, D-line. projecting him probably as a defensive lineman. Big kid, really can get off the ball, physical kid. We're excited to see what he does when he's not playing every snap. And he can get a little break in every now and then. But good kid, good family, and I think the sky's the limit with Dalton.
And I like the description that he can cause havoc. You like to see that.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. Sultan Sullivan, running back out of Pasadena City College, rushed for over 3,000 yards his senior year in high school. Actually led California in rushing in high school.
Wow.
Rushed for over 900 yards last year at Pasadena City College. Physical runner, but can also make people miss. Reminds me a little bit of Paul Terry, maybe a little bit bigger, but same style. So he brings a lot to the table, and we're excited to get him on campus and get him in the green and silver and see what he looks like carrying the ball for us.
And Coach, probably appropriate since we're in Black History Month to point out that Pasadena Community College, that's where Jackie Robinson was running back.
That's right. I forgot about that. Jerice Thomas actually was the teammate of Kerryon Ringo, who we just talked about at College of the Desert. And they both were 1,000-yard guys. One was a 1,000-yard receiver as a freshman. The other one was a 1,000-yard receiver as a senior. Or as a sophomore. They'd kind of flipped roles, but both had phenomenal careers there. They kind of were going to go somewhere together, and we got them on board, and we're excited. It's another weapon out there that, people are going to have to worry about. And, with our run game, when you start putting guys out there one-on-one coverage, that can make some defensive coordinators nervous, and that's where we're open. Dylan Tucker comes to us out of Roswell High School, state champs, 5A in New Mexico. Did a little bit of everything for them. We're probably projecting him as a wide receiver, smart kid, great football player, great hands. Coach Jeff Lynn couldn't say enough good things about him. And we're glad Dylan chose us over several other schools, and we're glad he's going to be great now.
Yeah, I remember seeing my Sports Look crew, the high school spotlight crew, went and filmed some Roswell games, and I remember that kid.
Yeah, great player. Did a lot for him.
Yes.
Really did a lot for him. Jaden Thompson, running back coming to us from Williamsfield High School, same high school as Tyler Lynch, our tight end. Fullback in a similar offense to us, a veer offense where he's running the dive and the veer. He's got good speed, but he's a load. He packs that 205 pounds into that 5'10 frame, and he is hard to tackle. He's one of those guys that's carrying pile, running over people, and I think obviously that'll be a nice addition, in our running back core.
Yep.
Cameron Walker, another good running back out of Austin High School in El Paso. Did a little bit of everything for them, played a wing T style offense. So he's played halfback, he's played fullback, so he's very versatile. Played a little bit of defense for him, and we just thought he was too good of an athlete to pass on. We know he'll fit somewhere in that backfield, that offensive backfield for us.
And it's interesting, a couple of your best running backs last year were El Paso kids.
Yeah, we've had good success with Johnny Smith and Tayshawn Gary. Both have had great careers for us, and Johnny Smith will be in his senior year. We're expecting big things out of him. I think he was second on conference in all-purpose yards. He finished, so going into his four-year starter, big things we're hoping out of Johnny. Tyreek Wilson, the last of the four transfer wide receivers are signed. Again, another 6'3 kid, 6'3", 185. Was the number one receiver at his JUCO at Santa Ana. Committed to us early. And again, another guy we've gotten to know and see this playmaking ability. Rewatched his film that we just, think that there's all kinds of things we can do in packages with these guys. And we're excited about getting on, as a coaching staff, getting in the board and start scheming and drawing things up this spring.
Are they similar wide receivers in terms of what they bring to the table, or is one a precise route runner and one guy is just...
Yeah, I think they're all a little bit different. The one thing that's nice about them is they're all about 6 foot or taller. So they all have good size and they all can jump. So they all have that ability to be the deep ball guy if that's the matchup you want. But yeah, some of them are more polished route runners, some are more athletic guys, some are good running ball without the catch. So we got to figure it all out and play to their strengths and make sure we're utilizing all those weapons.
Well, did that conclude our offensive side of the ball?
Sure,
Well,
I think so.
Let's flip it over to the defense and who we got.
All right, Savion Andrews out of Albuquerque High, did a lot, played both sides for them, was a running back, a corner, a DB. We're projecting him as a DB, just a really good athlete who we think could come in and add depth to our secondary and develop into a good player.
Better defending the run or the pass, or equally
He's probably
good?
a little better defending the run right now, but we think he's got good enough athleticism that he's going to be a good pass defender as well. Angelo Atencio out of Bloomfield High School. I joked that this is probably what Coach Walton looked like when he was in high school. He kind of wore 45 instead of 54, but he was a downhill linebacker, a hitter, kind of had the old neck roll. So if he ends up being anywhere near the kind of player Mike Walton was, we'll have us a good one. But great player, led him to a state championship. Coach Alcorn, I got a lot of respect for him, and he called me and told me, hey, this is the first real college prospect I've had in a few years, and we watched film and we agreed. And we wanted to get all over him, and we're glad he's going to be wearing the green and silver. Trevon Banks out of Tampa Bay Tech. Athletic guy, can play corner, can play safety, cover guy, will hit you. Not only coming up in the run game, but menacing for receivers. Coaches say he's a smart player. Obviously, he played a lot of different positions. So, you know, our defensive line coach, Coach George, coached some high school ball out in Florida, and he's got some connections, and he went out there recruiting, and we were able to sign some defensive backs from Florida, and we're excited about those guys, and he's one of those, and we can't wait to get him here and see what he's all about.
And that was phenomenal that he was a 3-year letterman in Florida. Letterman
Yeah,
3 years. That's really saying a lot.
And Trevon we think he's got some ability, and we look for him to come in and compete. And we're excited to get him here and see what he's all about. Raquan Beverly, another one of those Florida kids that we signed. Actually had him on a visit about a week ago. You know, we list him at 5'11". I think he's taller than me, and I'm 6'1". So, you know, a tall guy that can play corner or safety, but we like him as a corner. Rangy guy with good speed, played offense, was a good offensive player for him as well. So very versatile and just great kid, great family, and another kid that we're looking to see, you know, are they going to be able to make an impact earlier in their career than later, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Justin Carrasco, running back out of Roswell High School, played for Coach Lynn down there, was their #1 running back. Also son of Pilar Carrasco.
I was just going to ask.
Former Greyhound,
Yes.
great tight end. So, you know, his dad's an alum and a great player here. So I'm sure he's thrilled that Justin's going to be a Greyhound. And I kind of think Justin always wanted to be. So we're glad we were able to make that happen. And he's a physical kid, weight room kid, has a lot of records, and I think he can do some big things.
Are you going to keep him? Are you going to have him on the offensive side of the
Yeah,
ball?
he'll end up being an offensive
Okay.
guy probably. He'll probably end up being a running back for us.
We just sneak that in to see if we were still paying attention.
CJ Katia out of Florida, Superior Collegiate Academy in Clearwater. Another guy who's played a little bit of everything in the secondary, but again, we see him as a corner. He has those cover skills that you like, and he's physical enough to press up, and he's long and he can jump, and we think that he'll be another great cover guy that can bring some physicality to our secondary as well.
I'm impressed at the number of players you're getting from Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
Texas is probably the best state in the union, but Florida pretty close second.
Yeah, there's great football out there, and you know, we just haven't really had a connection to go out there. But with Jeff Jordan having those roots, we felt like that was something we needed to do, and he reached out to his guys, and we got him on the ground out there. And you know, some of them are signing sight unseen, you know, and they're trusting the process, and some of them were able to get out for visits. But we're excited about that. You know, there's a lot of speed out in Florida, and hopefully we got some guys that can run, and that will help our secondary speed a little bit.
Absolutely.
Jeff Davis out of Coronado High School, another big safety, 6'1" guy. Probably he's physical, might even grow into a linebacker, but you know, right now he's athletic enough. We really want to see if he can play safety. Had a knack for blocking kicks, had a knack for scooping and scoring. When you watch his highlight tape, it's like block punt, block kick, scoop and score, touchdown. It's the first 5 or 6 plays are all real phenomenal. So we know he's a versatile guy who can do a lot of things for us. Keelan Ferdinand, defensive tackle out of Chaffey College. Keelan's a big guy. He's probably 300 pounds is probably what we want to get him to. He's probably a little bigger than that right now, but good thing is he's here mid-year, so we're going to be able to work that weight off of him, and he's going to be a run stopper. And he, for a big guy, he's quick, light on his feet. So he's going to present some problems, and we've got a deep interior defensive line, and we think he's just going to push and add more depth to that.
I'm sure Coach Larry Bernardo will get him into shape.
That's
before
right.
very long.
That's right. Alex Golden just got his letter of intent in a little while ago. I think it was coming down to us in West Texas A&M. He chose the good guys, so we're excited. Another guy who played a little DN, played inside. Obviously, we think he has the ability and size to grow into a quality defensive tackle for us. just a really great player from Chapin High School, and a big, strong kid that's got nimble feet. We're really looking to develop Alex and think he could be a great one day.
And it goes without saying that in the Lone Star Conference, you've got to win the battle in the trenches.
Yeah, that's where it all starts on both sides. And if you can win that, you got a chance in any game. Isaiah Harvey, another kid out of Midland Lee, great program. Played for Floyd White, was his defensive coordinator over at Midland Lee, and a former Greyhound great. Can't say enough about him. Isaiah's a big guy. I mean, he's like a 10, 800-meter guy.
Wow.
And he can run, but he's played more in the box, you know, and we're projecting him as a safety because that's kind of what he's been, but, you know, he might grow into a linebacker. I know he can come off the edge. I know he can run with people, athletic, long kid. And we got a commitment from him this last week. Had a tough recruiting battle with a few schools on him. So we were really excited about Isaiah and what he brings to the table.
Well, the next time I see Floyd White, I'll have to tell him thank you for getting us the player.
It always helps to have that guy in your corner. Jahir Huff out of Florida, Superior Collegiate Academy, same school, 5'10", 175, more of a utility DB. You know what I mean? He can play the corner, he can play the safety, he can play the nickel spot. You know what I mean? You can do a lot of different things with him, and he's done a lot of different things. So we want to see where he fits with us and get him in the right spot and let him go out there and wreak havoc. Max Hussein, defensive end out of Naples, 6'2", 200-pounder with great frame, good pass rusher. We want to get him down here, put some weight on him. Really good kid who really wanted to be a Greyhound, you know, and we're excited about, you know, getting our foot in that Florida recruiting base. And he's another one of those guys that we think can really make a difference.
And there again, I'll refer back to my previous comment about Larry Bernardo and what he can do.
That's right. Put that weight on and be ready to have a heck of a player in a couple of years. Cade Manzanares, another one. We signed 3 off the state championship, Roswell High School. Cade was actually the New Mexico Preps Mr. Football award for New Mexico, which is the first defensive player to win that, solely defensive player. So obviously well respected in the state of New Mexico, had several opportunities, took a lot of visits. He's going to be a Greyhound, quality linebacker, tough kid, and high profile guy that we're excited about.
I thought I recognized the name, and it's just like never happens that a defense player wins that award.
It's nice to see those defense guys getting some love like that. Michael Martinez, another linebacker, played in the state championship game on the other side versus Roswell for Los Lunas Tigers. 6'2" kid, 190-pounder, runs really well, great student, smart kid, football savvy guy with a great football IQ, and we think he'll fit right into Coach Walton's scheme with having to be an intelligent linebacker. We think he'll be one of those guys for him.
Which is what Mike Walton was.
Exactly. Kendrick Milford played for La Cueva, state championship 6A, 6'4", 220-pounder, extremely athletic. The thing about him is both his mom and his dad, I think, were Division I basketball players. And so he may grow another 4 or 5 inches. His dad's very tall, his mom's tall. Athleticism runs in the family. I know his grandfather was a longtime basketball coach at Hope Christian, so Kendrick was instrumental in La Cueva winning the state championship. And we think he's still growing. And again, we'll get Coach Bernardo put some weight on him, and we think he could be a really good player. Probably one of the best prospects out of New Mexico this year.
And that kind of reminds me of a former Greyhound, Mike Connolly, who came out of Portales High School and continued to grow, get the weights, and became a really good player.
Been an all-conference caliber player. JaMichael Moore out of Fullerton Junior College, dominating defensive tackle, all-conference guy, played on those national championship teams. Really high-quality player. Again, Coach Silver probably instrumental in that, having that prior relationship. But, we think JaMichael can, he's been out of football a year. So, we're going to have to get him in shape and get him back. But if we can get him back to where he was, he's going to be a fantastic player. If we can improve upon that, he's going to be a dominating player. So, really thrilled about the possibility of getting him down to Portales and on board with the Greyhounds. Malik Mosley out of California, defensive tackle, defensive end guy, can play both spots, very light on his feet, uses his hands well for a young guy, and he's a wrestler, so he knows how to use his hands. And we think he's going to be a really good one, and we're excited about picking up Malik out of California.
And I was going to say one thing. I was going to say, well, if he's as good an athlete as Kawhi Leonard, who's from Moreno Valley, but then Brad Harden was a football player and a wrestler and turned out to be really good. So hope he's got that same skill set.
I do too. Hope he has that kind of career for us. Mazin Richards out of Centennial High School in Burleson. Mazin's older brother plays at Eastern Illinois. He originally had an offer to play at Eastern Illinois, but then they had a coaching change. He lost his offer there, Division I. That benefited us, and obviously he had probably 10 or 15 Division II offers. But we got him up for a visit. He fell in love with our campus and our team and our players. And it's a guy who we think is going to have to play right away, and we think he has the ability to do that. He was following his brother's footsteps and had been a big wide receiver up until the last couple of years. So even though he was a great defensive end, we think he has a lot of upside because he's new to the position, and he's a guy that we look at coming in and competing right away. Wow. Ernesto Rios out of Platte Valley, Colorado, small school guy, did everything for him. Good running back for him, physical kid, going to play linebacker for us. He'll hit you. Great kid, had the whole RMAC recruiting him. Wanted to see something new. We got him down here, fell in love with Coach Walton's scheme, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do under that tutelage. Cameron Rollison's interesting prospect out of Estacado. Obviously, we're recruiting him as a DB, where he was a great player on the defensive side, but they're late in the year on their district and playoff run. He actually took over the reins of quarterback. And kind of a wildcat type thing where that was what they were doing full time. And was the offensive catalyst to them winning district and playoff games. So he can do a lot of things. Obviously, he's a natural born leader. So we think he's going to be a great fit as a safety, but he's got some of those leadership qualities that you always are excited about as a coach.
That's an interesting backstory.
Cameron Santa Cruz, small high school guy right down the road in Eunice. Propelled him to a couple state championships. I mean, he's done everything at Eunice, did everything on the football field. I think we saw a game where he scored 5 touchdowns in 5 different ways one time. But we think he's going to be a safety because he's physical. He'll hit you, he'll tackle, he can run stop, and he can light those receivers up. And, very versatile kid that we think hopefully he can be that next in that long line of small school players. The Seth Bailey, Wyatt Strands that have come and had a lot of success here for us.
And interestingly enough, putting in a shameless plug for Sports Lick, the sports television program I host here on K&W, we did one Eunice game. That was the game where he scored all those touchdowns.
All those touchdowns. Yeah, his highlight tape is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Colin Smith out of Ennis, Texas, linebacker, 6 foot, 200-pound guy. Played all over the field. Played some running back. I like those linebackers that played running back. They seem to always know where the hole's going to be because they've been on that other side, so they fill those holes. And he's one of those guys, and we think he's got a bright future as a Greyhound. Vicente Tompkins comes to us out of Eastern Arizona, versatile guy. Was actually a triple option quarterback as a freshman for John O'Meara. And then his next year he played safety, and really talented guy, good cover guy, physical guy against the run, played a little corner, played nickel, can do a lot of things. And if we got in a bind at quarterback, he's run the triple option before. So that's always a good feather to have in your hat because he could go over there and do that if we needed. But again, a guy that's playing quarterback in college and playing defense, he's got that football IQ and a leader, and I think he'll do big things on the defense for us.
And I'm going to date myself a little bit with its reference, but there was a great safety for the Los Angeles Rams back when they used to be the Los Angeles Rams, Nolan Cromwell. He had played quarterback in Kansas and then made the shift.
Right. And, those guys seem to understand a little bit more what's going on.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes they get a little jump on the ball,
yes,
and it turns into big plays.
Thinking the same thing.
Right here, local kid, Julian Uristate, out of Portales High School, did everything, during his career there, really took the reins as a quarterback, as a senior, but I think, we think he's going to fit as a defensive back. He's got great hips, he can jump, got good speed, and what we like about him is he's a competitor, and sometimes that's what you want in those DBs. Guys are going to fight for the balls, don't want to let a ball get caught on him. And while we think he could do some things offensively, we think right now defensive backs where he might be able to impact the Greyhounds the most.
Yeah, and I actually know him quite well because he's a Portales kid. He's actually taking my History 101 class dual enrollment.
Oh, okay.
And so, smart kid, great kid. I interviewed him on the something different. It'll coach a
Right,
show
right.
and just you'll be very, very pleased with.
We're excited to have
Yes.
him, and it's great. And I'm sure his family's excited. He had some other offers, some NAIA schools, some junior colleges. So, for him to decide to stay at home and be a Greyhound, it's exciting, and we're excited to see him take off that Ram jersey and put on that Greyhound jersey.
Exactly.
Austin Walker out of Manzano High School. We had a long line of players out of Manzano, and we're expecting Austin to be another one of those guys that contributes. Big, strong, physical linebacker. Had a great senior year. We think he can really be a fine player.
And I see he's a hitter, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
because
he's
if
a
you're not,
physical guy. He's going to lay the wood, as they say. Jashawn Wolf, one of the mid-year guys we got in, cornerback, cover corner, fast guy, good hips, some jumping ability. We really think Jashawn can be one of those cover guys, and we're excited to get spring ball started and see what he's all about. He's looking really good in off-season work right now.
because there are some teams in Lone Star, like WT, tried to establish the run game first, but a lot of teams in Lone Star Conference, they're going to chuck the ball 30, 40 times in the game.
Yeah, and then what's happened to us in the past, sometimes we've been pretty good at shutting down the run, and even the run teams, at some point they start wanting to go one-on-one and try to take those matchups. So you can never have too many of those guys.
No.
And to have a guy like Jashawn, who we think can be a true cover corner type guy, that could add something to our defense if he pans out in that way. And I know and that allows Coach Walton to start scheming some stuff up. And third down can be one of those exotics where you bring a lot of stuff if you have a guy that can lock down one side of the field. And of course, we got Charles County coming back, and he's been a 4-year player, 3-year starter for us, and we got a lot of confidence in him. So we're excited about seeing how that all shakes out.
Do we have any more, or was that the end of the alphabet?
Looks like the end,
That was
unless
the
they're
end of the
throwing more at us.
Well, Coach, one of the things that you talked about was how you brought kids to campus, and then they made the decision. And a lot of that has to do with the sell job of the coaching staff, but it also reflects very favorably on the university, and they know they're going to get a good education when they come to Eastern.
Oh, absolutely. A college visit is there's a lot that goes into it, and the Division II level, when you're dealing with partial scholarships, kids are going to look at where do they want to play football, where do they want to go to school, and then what does the finances look. And then they're going to weigh those three things to make the decision that's best for them. So, we kind of spend our day when they visit, the first half of the day is touring the campus. We spend a good amount of time over here. We bring them to this facility and let them see this and the hands-on experience these students get and put that front and foremost. But, we spend time doing all that, and then the second part of the day, we get into the athletic facilities and the athletic part of it. And I think, our campus sells itself, and what I always tell people is, one of the things we got here, we've got some great facilities, but we got great people, and so when you get people with great people, that's contagious, and I think that's why we do well when we get people to actually visit the campus, of getting them to sign on.
And that leads me nicely into the next point I was going to make, which is we have a great campus. A lot of people maybe driving to Portales think that it's going to be this dusty, wind-blown place. John Canmore and his staff do a great job of keeping the campus looking like the nicest campus.
Yeah, and I mean, you walk down the middle of it and you feel like you're in a big college campus, and that's exciting, and people feel like they're going to get a college experience. And we talk to them about the events going on, that there's hypnotists and casino nights and things like that, so that the students can stay engaged and excited and have a good experience. And then the things we do as a team together, so that helps us bond as a family. And so, there's a lot of people go into a recruiting process, and I want to thank them all, and everyone that touches those kids and helps us get them signed. They're important. And I really want to thank my coaches. This coaching staff did a phenomenal job. We expanded our areas some. Out-of-state tuition is lower than it's been, which has opened up some avenues for us financially to go out and recruit some new areas, which put more tax on them, being away from home, being away from school, or Portales, GAs being away from class, and and they got out there and grinded and found players and recruited them and sold them in our program, and I'm proud of them, and I want to thank them. They did a heck of a job.
Lastly, I think it's a lot easier, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably a little bit easier to recruit kids to the Greyhound Stadium than it might have been to the old Blackwater Raw facility.
Absolutely. Anytime you have something new, you know what I mean? And that stadium in our conference is comparative, now. I mean, obviously, There's bigger ones, but ours is as new right now as any of them, and the Jumbotron's nice, and it's right here on campus, you know what I mean? And that's nice, and that adds to that college feel, and we're excited about that, and that's definitely been a feather in our cap when it comes to recruiting.
And lastly, I was going to with Greyhound Stadium, but then I thought of one more thing, and you
Sure.
can tell that we're doing this live, and this isn't or I do another take, but it occurs to me that when you're recruiting, it's you, it's the university, but you have to have support from the athletic department. You've got to have support from the Greyhound Club to be able to do as effective job recruiting as you possibly can.
Yeah, and the Greyhound Club supports us every year with a little extra help for recruiting, and that's big because that allows us to fly some kids in and put some kids up in hotels and, send a coach out to Florida, to do that where, just in our budget, normally we don't have the means to do that. But, with that little bit of extra money here and there through the Greyhound Club and the support of, boosters and people that are, significant contributors in our program, that helps a lot. And we want to thank all those people as well.
Coach, some of the kids will not be here until the summer or getting ready for fall ball. But you do have kids that are here, kids that are returning, kids
Right.
that signed at mid-year. So what's your schedule for spring practice?
Well, right now we're in our off-season training portion, and we got that going for the rest of this week and one more week, and then we start up our spring ball. And of course, we'll continue to lift. Our spring ball schedule is basically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, football practice, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday lifting, and we'll do that for about 5 weeks, a couple weeks, and then we go spring break, which is good because if you get some injuries, you can heal up. And we'll come back and finish up at the end of March. And that's an exciting time when you got a group like this. And as coaches, you're excited to get out there and get to work with them.
And the nice thing is for the coming football campaign in 2019, you've already got that. You didn't have to go out and find new teams to play.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty much the same teams, just flip-flop.
Yeah, our schedule's just flipped, which is a challenge because we had the toughest schedule in Division II last year. By strength of schedule numbers, and it'll be one of the toughest this year. Obviously, there's been a little change at Commerce, and we'll see how that plays out. And you don't know where teams are going to be. Last year, all those teams had 4-year starting quarterbacks returning too. We got a 4-year starting quarterback returning, and some of those guys graduated, so that should help. And some of those games now are at home, and so it's a little more favorable. But we're going to have to be able to play good football early, and our season could get away from us if we don't, and then would be in a situation where we are last year. We were winning 4 out of our last 5 with a chance to go to a bowl game, at the end of the year. But, if we could have got a couple games early, it could have been a whole different thing. So good teams, good schedule. We don't want it any other way. It's flipped. So we're excited about going up against those same 11 teams. And we want to get a few wins where we were in the L column. And if we do that, some good things will happen because that strength of schedule is going to be favorable for us for a playoff run if we were able to get those 8 wins.
And it'll all start out with a home game against Missouri School of Science and Technology.
Yeah, a team coming off of a bowl win themselves. I think they were 9-2 regular season, so 10-2. 10-2 team coming off a bowl game coming to town. So we're excited about that, and we want to make it tough for teams to come into Greyhound Stadium and get a win. I imagine they'll be ranked, and that's right what we want, and we'll be fired up about it.
Well, that is going to wrap up our Eastern New Mexico University Greyhound Football Signing Day special for 2019. I'd like to thank Kelley Lee, the head coach of Greyhound Football, for being my guest. Ryan Shoemaker, who is our new sports information director.
Yes, I want to thank Ryan and his crew because, they're the ones behind the scene that got all the Twitter graphics out and really helps, be a catalyst to get this set up, that we could do this over at KNW and Alan Crawford and his crew. And I think Ryan said there was over 50,000 tweets, something. I don't know what he calls it, but so that he said that was a good number. He said that's sometimes that's what we get in a month. So obviously it's a big day. There's a lot of people excited. There's a lot of activity on social media, live stream like this, and get to talk about these kids. And it's an exciting day for them. We're excited for them being Greyhounds. So a lot of people we want to thank that's helped put this together, and we want to thank you, Doc, for coming and helping get this show. It's always a little better with Doc Elders on board.
Oh, Coach, there are many people who could do it better, but nobody enjoys being associated with Eastern athletics more than I do. So I would certainly echo what Kelley Lee said. I would like to thank everybody here at KNW, Alan Crawford, all of the young people, those of you in the viewing audience, that's one of the real selling points of Eastern is you don't just learn, you get to do here at Eastern New Mexico University. So if you're still thinking about what to do with your future, not a bad school to consider. So for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.